Hey guys, and Happy New Year. So something crossed my path that I couldn't pass up, and my neighbor needed a gas edger, so here it is, a power trim edger. Little Briggs & Stratton. Definitely could use a new belt, but it's going to go back to work again. And I pulled it over, but there's no spark, so we're going to have to clean the points on it. So let's get in there. Alright, so we got the blower cover off, and we got a little bit of grass. Doesn't really look like, it might be a mouse nest, but there isn't very much else to it. But it's got points for sure, because it's got this older ignition coil style. So we'll pop that flywheel off and clean up the points. Alright, well, the flywheel didn't put up much of a fight, but it does look like someone else has been in here because of that bolt right there, you see. And it looks like the little plunger inside isn't really going up and down. So I'm just going to disassemble this, clean everything up, and put the points back to their proper gap, clean them up, and hopefully we will get spark. And it looks like this thing also has the original spark plug, because that is a dirty plug. But we'll get that cleaned up, and we'll check back in with you. Alright, so we got the plunger out. I had to check and see if it was worn out, because the book says to reject it at 870, but I don't have my calipers on me. So by measuring with a tape measure, which is of course accurate, you know, it is measuring the correct length. But I popped the head off, and there's all your carbon, and it doesn't look like it was ever serviced, so that must be the original spark plug. That is some nastiness crusted on there. So we'll take a little wire brush on a drill, make sure it's on its compression stroke, and buzz all that off, and then probably do a valve job just to be sure, and make her reliable again. So let's go ahead and clean up the cylinder. Alright, so we got the flywheel back on, and I was going to service the clutch, and it's got grass in it. So good thing we took it apart, and going to clean it out and put a little bit of Carburetor on it and keep it from gumming up, and put her back on and see if it'll crank over. Alright, so we're doing the valve job next. I have the intake valve out, and the seat on there is actually in really nice shape. I just honed it, but before that, or lapped it. I didn't even need to lap it probably, but I'm just doing it for good measure, so it lasts quite a long time. And of course, these types are very annoying because you have to have this little pin keeper inside of there. So if you haven't already, I would highly recommend just buying yourself one of these valve spring compressors. It is just worth the wait, frankly, and it just saves you the headache of trying to get that little pin out. Little pin right there. So I'm gonna do the exhaust valve next, and we'll button it all back up together again and put a fresh coat of paint on her. For those of you curious, there's the intake valve, or the exhaust valve, and it's got a little bit more wear, so we're gonna wire wheel that, lap it, and put it according to the book. It's a 6000 series, so got my feeler gauges here, so we'll set that, put a new head gasket on there, bolt it up, and like I said before, we'll give her a fresh coat of paint. Alright, so we got the points set at 21 thousandths, and you can do that by making sure you're on the compression stroke, by looking at your valves and your cylinder and your piston, and you can set the points when it opens up with your 20 thousandths shim. So now it goes up and down, so hopefully we'll have spark once we put it all back together again and get her fired up here. Always important to make sure your spark's working before you put everything back together. So I got my socket on the end here and a little spark tester. So we got spark. Let's see if she'll work. Alright, so we got it all buttoned back up, and got my drill here. Oh. Yeah, we're doing it one-handed. Pardon me here, pulling the choke. And she gave up here. Yeah, burning some crap off the muffler. Alright, keep buttoning her up and then we'll probably tackle the carburetor next here. Alright, so I got the carburetor off. You gotta drop the tank, which is 2 bolts, and then drop the tank, which isn't actually too bad. It just has a little bit of rust in it. I don't know if you guys can see that. No, you can see a little bit. And the carburetor itself is actually pretty clean. It looks like the pickup tube, as you see there, is clog free, or so you think. So we'll take this apart and clean it off and get the jet out, clean that, because it'll run, but it doesn't respond to low idle, which is usually a symptom of the carburetor. Probably just has some gum in there or something. So we'll clean that up, put her back on, and get her to idle for you. Alright, so we got the gas tank back on, we got it all adjusted, starts and idles and runs at its RPM. It's a pretty strong runner for how old she is. So she lives on to cut more edges as an edger. I got the blower housing in the cooker, cleaning up all the grease and gunk off of it. And then I was thinking about giving her a coat of yellow paint over there to go with the body style, because that isn't actually the blower housing for this engine. It's a, this is another one. This is for a vertical off of a like a snapper or a something else like that. So I'll put that back on, clean her up, definitely change the oil because it's low on oil, and maybe paint this handle, maybe give a rubber coating right there for use, because it makes it easier to load it in and out of your truck like that for the gentleman who's going to get this. So let's continue on. Alright, here's what's left of the power trim after we got the motor running well. So now we got to take care of the frame and the blade and all that assembly and clean it up. Maybe give her a new coat of paint, clean up the tires, make her look brand new. Probably paint the engine black, and then it's not the original housing, so we might go with yellow or keep it black. I'm still kind of on the fence about it. And then repaint the handle a little bit orange because it's the same as the tires here. And then she'll be good for another, 50 or so years. Anyway, thanks for watching. Alright, so it's the next day. My battery on my phone died, so you didn't get to see everything else. But this is what's left after the first day. And I got the engine in the shop, and we're going to run to the store and pick up some goodies for it. And we'll be back with parts and we'll get back to work. So there it is with a fresh coat of paint, but I got rained on, so it has 2 coats on it now, and luckily it dried enough to where it didn't screw it up when it started raining. So there's what's left of it, and I'm going to keep working on it as weather permits. Thanks for watching, and give it a like button. We'll keep you updated on this one. And you stay classy.